you at this point because you don't listen to others?
Defund the police, call the police.
Suck my dick. Suck my dick.
Let's do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that one, man. Let's not do that.
Don't
invite another man to your private car.
You like that. You like that. You like that.
Let's not do that, man.
You like that. You like that. And your mama.
Come on, let's. You guys.
Yeah.
Get out of here. God don't want that here.
There's your party over there.
God don't want you. Get out of here. Get out of here. You say you support the U.S. Army?
That's right.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Are you condoning what they're doing?
And I support the police. And I support the police.
Yeah, because we know they KKK just like you.
Thank God for the police.
Just like you.
Thank God for the
they
police.
white supremacists just like you.
Thank God for the
No
police.
offense, no one,
Yeah.
but that's what it's called.
Thank you for law
That's
and
what
order.
it's called.
Thank you for law and order.
That's what it's
That's
called.
what it's all about. America, freedom, loving
Get out of here.
Americans, preaching the truth to the wicked
Bible,
that shall fall
Bible,
before
and
the
you're
holy,
gonna fall.
righteous God, and you
When
shall
you
give
walk
an
away from
account
here,
of
get your hand out of my
sin.
face.
Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
Get out of
Put
here.
your hand on
Don't
nobody.
get out of here.
Did you guys fucking see that? Did you see that? Oh, you want to stand up there and see that? You didn't see this man. Just put his hand on him.
We're not going to defund the police,
Tell
homeboy.
him. Touch me.
We
I
love
want
the
it.
Defund you.
If you put your hands on me,
Homeboy,
yeah, because
we're
you
going
may
to
be
defund
one.
you.
You may be
You and
one.
your cronies.
You may, and I'm going to knock your ass out cold.
There you go. There's assault.
You are incompetent.
Assault.
You are incompetent. Call the rest of the KKK. Call
It ain't
the
over
rest of
yet,
the
buddy.
KKK.
We are
Don't
not
worry
going to
about
defund the
it.
police.
I live here. I was born here. I was born here, weren't you?
And the Lord
Go
Jesus
back
Christ
to the
is a lot
Caucasus
more
Mountains.
thing of being, buddy.
Go back to the Caucasus Mountains. That's where y'all originated from.
Don't push me. Don't
Why you
fucking
gotta
push me,
yell?
dude.
We can hear you.
Go.
Why you gotta yell? We can hear you.
Go.
Well, she a loudmouth anyway.
Yeah.
You don't need a microphone. Just lift your voice.
Get out.
I can hear you fine. Yeah, lift your voice. Right.
They're going to take me.
You probably yell at your parents.
They're going to take me.
You probably yell at your parents. They're racist.
No, you're racist.
They're racist.
No, you made me. You're making me.
I'm Hispanic. How can it be?
You're Hispanic?
Yeah.
No, the hell you're not.
Hell yeah.
No, the hell you're not. No, the hell you're not. If you're Hispanic, then you are half black. Did you know that? Check your answer. If you are Hispanic, you are half black.
Not everything is black.
Everything. The earth was black.
God's black, right? Jesus is black, right?
Check it out. You better check it out. You better check it out.
Why are there so many black on black killings?
You know what?
No, I never answered that question.
That's because of these
Hey,
police
kill him.
officers.
Hey, kill him. Kill him. Kill him. Hey, kill him. Kill him. You got the right to
Unarmed.
decide. You got the right
Unarmed
to
like
decide.
you think that's right?
Black
Your
on black.
stand, your stand,
Black on
we
black.
let us deal with that.
Black on black.
We're gonna deal with him. We're gonna deal with him.
No, you're not
We
dealing
don't
with him.
need
It's
y'all.
getting worse.
We don't need
It's
y'all.
getting higher.
Okay, so you know what? Since that's what you say, it is. What about y'all crime that y'all don't put on the news? Y'all don't put it out
And
there.
we ain't going
but
to
I know
defund the
about it.
police, buddy.
Oh, we
We
are
ain't
going
going
to
to defund them. No, we're
Oh,
going to
yes, we
support
are.
them.
No, we're going to
We are
defund
not
them.
going to defund the
Their
police.
asses
No
out of
way,
here.
man.
Because we are tired of the police
You
going
guys
around
are
killing
talking
people.
against the
Just
police.
lift the
We're
voice.
tired.
We can hear you.
We're tired. We are tired.
I know you're tired.
We are tired.
You need to get some sleep.
Enough. I sleep every day. Every day. No, I don't even smoke.
I already know that for
I don't drink. I don't do any of that.
abortion
None of
kills
that. You're the
babies.
one that smoked dope.
Oh,
Didn't
yeah.
you just go right from the dope man?
I'll tell you what, I got born again.
Ah!
I got born again. I got saved. I got saved by the blood of Jesus.
Ah! You don't even know who that
That
is.
can change
You
your
don't
life.
even know who that is.
Where's
Ah!
your
You don't know who that is. Don't worry about it.
Where's your
You
husband?
don't know what that is. Why you asking me that?
Where's your husband?
Why is you asking? The police killed you. The police killed you. That's where he is.
You know
That's
what
where
I'm
he is.
talking about.
Don't touch me. And don't touch me.
Wait, don't touch me.
Don't do
No,
it.
she's been hitting us.
Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. Bag it up. Bag it up.
We just tell them to put it down. We can talk.
Yeah, y'all can put it down.
We don't just screaming in our ears.
She's got that
You wouldn't appreciate that.
If you're a megaphone, you wouldn't appreciate that. That's why. I need to back up.
I got
You weren't talking that tough shit when the police came. You wouldn't put that fucking little P-gun up. Now stop talking that shit. I'll be civil towards you. I'll be civil towards you. Let him leave. Let him leave and run your mouth. Let him leave and run your mouth. I'll lay you down. I'll lay your ass down. You talking shit. You talking shit. I had no mask on before. And I told your ass the same goddamn thing I told you before. You're not military. You're a fucking fraud.
You need to get
So
right.
if you touch her,
I'm in the
if you
Army
touch
of
her, I'll
God.
kill you.
Here we go.
Exactly.
I'll kill you.
Are you in the Army? I'll bring some Marines down here for your ass.
I'll kill you in front of them.
And they're going to light your ass up.
God's army, the host of the heavenly heavens, will come down and exact vengeance
And then you
on
will
his
see
enemies.
that it's not, and you are the enemy.
Enemies of God.
You are the enemy of God. You are the enemy of God.
I'm an enemy of your God. Your
Repent
God is
today,
bullshit. Your God is
because
fake.
today
Your God is
is the day
bullshit. I'm an
of
enemy
your
of your God.
salvation. There is no other name under heaven by
Your
which you are
God is
called.
bullshit.
You are an enemy of God. You are God's enemy.
Hey, you
That's who you are.
Who pissed off Santa? Who pissed off Santa? Who gives Santa the gun? Santa, you calm down. Santa, you be nice.
Where'd you
Santa, Santa, be nice.
Is that the black Jesus?
Ho, ho, ho. Merry
Is
Christmas.
it the white Jesus? Is it the Mexican Jesus? Is it the South American? Which Jesus are you talking about?
You know Jesus was brown, right?
I'll wait for an answer.
Hey,
Look at this toy soldier with no military background. He was holding his gun like a little bitch. He actually had the gun long.
hey,
You know what I mean? He's a
hey.
clown.
You know Jesus was brown, right? You know Jesus was
He
fucking ugly.
Well, he said it was brown. He said it was brown. He admitted that shit.
I'm actually right here. Oh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
You know the one that said love everyone? The one that said love everyone?
From the slave.
Climate change is real. Climate change is real. Climate change is real. Climate change is real. The country's on fire. The country's on fire. The country's on fire. The country's on fire. Climate change is real. Your planet is on fire. Your planet is on fire.
You're not a military guy. You didn't know what the fuck you were doing to begin with.
Climate change
You
is
fucking turned your
real.
back about 3
Climate
times.
change is real.
Your guard.
Climate change is
Hey,
real.
clown, you're doing this shit now because the police are here. You didn't say none of this shit before they came. And you had an AR-15. Go get your AR-15 back. You had an AR-15 and you weren't talking this shit before they came. With AR-15, I told you that you shit. Your guard, you weren't even holding right. I could
The
take it.
planet is on fire. Climate
He
change
put this
is
shit away.
real.
Hey,
Climate
guys,
change
he
is
talking this
real.
shit before the police came.
Climate change is
He
real.
wasn't talking this shit to me before the police came. You didn't say a fucking word.
Climate change is real. The planet is on fire.
Listen, hold on,
The
Liz,
planet
Liz.
is on
Before the
fire.
police came, this
The
bitch
planet
told
is
me
on
to
fire.
He didn't say a fucking word. He said he was guarding you guys. He didn't fucking know. This son of a bitch right here with the AR-15 that he put up. Who the fuck puts up their weapon if they believe in the goddamn Second Amendment right? You fucking clown. You old clown. You fucking turned your back 3 times. I could have clipped his ass and I told you that. He wasn't even paying attention to you. So go get your goddamn refund on this toy cop. Toy goddamn military. He turned his back. I could have told you 3 or 4 times and I told him that. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Santa Claus.
Hey, what do you got to give Santa?
Now listen. I like you, Santa.
Thank you.
What do you got to give Santa?
Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a conversation. Have a seat. Fuck Santa.
Hey, did you tell your little kids you hate Santa Claus? Come on, killer. Hey, I'm having fun with you, man. Stop it.
I know, so why don't you
man.
cut it out? You weren't doing that shit before they came, so don't do that shit now.
You know
You're
better.
real simple.
You
Okay,
know
okay,
better.
my man then. We're good.
You're all community.
We're
knows
good.
better.
We're good. Who, what community?
In your community,
Because you don't like the
though?
police.
In your community, though?
Fucking community.
Hey, my community, we have a
So
church.
what community
That's
do you
our
represent?
I know it's true.
God's community.
I know
church
it's true.
community.
I know it's
Christian
true.
community.
That's raping women and children. What about the pedophilia?
Well, you got to go to the Catholic Church for that.
Lutheran,
Go to the Catholic
Lutheran,
Church to
any
see that.
church.
Well, whatever.
Pedophile.
Go to those churches because I'm not preaching religious, woman. I'm preaching Jesus. I'm preaching Jesus. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, that can come and change lives and change hearts and get you right with God. They can set you on a foundation. They can do the things. I have a Second Amendment right to carry. The God said we're open carry.
Everybody out here is not carrying.
Why, you scared of my gun? You scared of
You
guns?
don't scare me.
Right?
You don't scare me.
I know.
You with nobody
So why you
like
bringing my
you?
gun to it? I'm carrying
Why are
another
you
gun.
here?
So what?
You're supposed to be
I don't
armed
plan
with
on
Jesus.
killing
So
anybody.
how do you believe in
But I
Jesus
will defend
when you're
myself
armed?
if I have to.
Be very,
I will too.
Hey, wait,
I
wait.
will
be
too.
very careful because I love her
I
death.
will
She's with
too.
me.
This your
We're
woman?
together. No, that's my family. So be very careful.
Okay.
That's my family.
So
So be
what
very
you-
careful with that shit.
No, what
Wait,
you
wait.
need to
Why
do.
you being so emotional?
I'm the wrong
Just
one.
bring it down. I can listen.
Hold on.
I'm old. I can't hear so
Look
well.
here. European Jesus worshiper.
No. There's no
If you're
color in
armed
the
with
Bible.
Jesus,
There's no color in
why
the
are
Bible.
you? If you're armed with
America.
Jesus,
America.
Why did you put the goddamn AR-15 up, man? Why did you put it up? I didn't put my shit up. I got 2 guns. I didn't put shit up.
Stand beside her and guide her.
that's an insult to
From
me.
the light from above, to the mountains, to the prairies, to the... Hey, I'm a pretty good... I might go on the
You're a
voice.
comedian, man.
Hey,
I can't even take you serious.
You know, I can say, hey, you know what? I grew up with a lot of blacks in my community.
Go. You on the color TV too, right?
What does that mean,
You
man?
on the color
You
TV.
a Mexican and you sit
That
there
makes
and
no
say shit.
Hey,
sense.
I tell you what, I really appreciate you
You
guys.
grew up with the
that play
Mexicans?
good
Hey,
ball.
how
I really
do you
appreciate
feel
it.
about the wall of the Mexicans?
Because
How
you know
do
what?
feel about Mexicans?
I learned
How
from
do you feel about
these
Mexicans?
guys were athletes. I learned from them. I appreciate
How do you feel about
I know why you
Mexicans?
hate black men.
Why?
Because they dick is bigger than yours.
No, well,
That's why.
I tell you why.
That's why you and your people
Let me ask you.
raped and murdered
are you-
black men and women.
are you checking
You're
me
the
out?
reason
Why you checking me out?
pedophiles.
Why you
You're a
checking me out?
pedophile. And
Why you
the
checking me
Jesus
out?
He's not
you
checking you
believe
out.
in
You're
has
not
raped
you're not that type at
generations.
all.
Hey, wait.
Again, while you're talking about basketball,
Let me get this.
what is it that you
Hey,
do
let me get
as a
this on the
European
record.
that's good?
If you black men would take care of your babies, these women wouldn't have
Hey,
to go down and
dumbass, I got a
have
wife and family and I actually have my baby.
It's called
Hold on.
kid-
We have our
So
baby.
you're telling me Europeans, the reason that there's
Quit
abortion centers is because
aborting your babies. Guys, you need to take care of them. Take care of your babies.
I'm a father.
Right, you agree with that? I know you do. You need some help.
my kids are taken care of.
Okay, so if your man
While you're
takes care of
talking about
good for him.
abortions,
But why-
it's the Europeans that
Stop.
set that construct up.
No, the Nazis
Okay?
did.
The Europeans.
The eugenicists
You are
did.
that.
Hey, Vaughn, he's a clown. Hey, Vaughn, he's a clown. He backed it down to the police. When the police came, he was on his fucking knees in front of me. Before the police came, he wasn't doing all this goofy shit.
I got my hands
Now you're
free.
doing this shit when the police is
my
here.
hands
You didn't say a fucking word when I showed you how fucking unmilitary you was.
good preacher,
You were
man.
so fucked up and
You're
unmilitary
so
I could have clipped your man 3 times, motherfucker, and I showed you. Then you went and put your AR-15 up, you fucking pussy. You never put your gun down. If you knew what the fuck you were doing, you never put your gun down. You went and put your gun up when the police came. You pussy. Like I told you, you didn't touch the woman like I told you. You backed your ass down, didn't you? You had more sense because I told you I would have laid you all the fuck down. I would have laid you all the fuck down. No, let him go, Vaughn. Because he was pussy before they came. You were pure pussy before they came, guy.
All right?
You were pure pussy
I
before
know
they
this
came.
guy. I know this guy.
I've been here with you, yeah.
He's
You know
all
my
talk.
guy, I'm here.
He's all
I
talk.
know because I'm talking
You're
to you
all talk.
because you didn't say a
No,
goddamn
man.
word before
Hey,
they came.
I'm saying truth.
You didn't say
You
shit
don't want to hear
with
truth.
that
That's why you
fake
got that
ass shit.
I say truth.
You
That
stood
Jesus
there and
Christ
had your gun
can
held
change
wrong and
your
you
life.
turned your back to the
Don't
guy you were
worry.
guarding 3 times.
And
And I told you I could have killed his ass. And you dumbass too busy looking over that way with your unskilled ass. You unskilled clown. You weren't saying a fucking word until they came. I was over here chilling. Was I speaking before they came? Those who were out here, I just had a few words for me. Shut the fuck up. You didn't put your hand on the woman. I told you to put your hand on her, and you backed it the fuck up and you said thank you. Get the fuck out of here. You know what? My guns are still on me.
Amen. The Lord Jesus
My
Christ
guns are
is the only
still
one
on me,
that's going to save all of us. I got saved in 1987. I don't hate nobody.
And I second that. Fuck your Jesus.
Crucified, buried, and risen
Fuck your
for
Jesus
the
too.
forgiveness of all y'all sins.
And fuck the God you serve, which is not the God that we truly serve.
Hey, don't touch anyone. Don't be touching anyone.
No, he just all like us. Hey, so that's Jesus. So that's Jesus. Hey, this is Jesus talking, y'all. This is Jesus talking.
talk like a little pussy.
Racist
Quit being a
prick.
homo. Quit being a homo.
Racist prick.
You got nothing. You're king.
Facebook Live, family. He was all pussy before the police came. This is Mike Kennedy.
Once you get
He was
right
all
and
pure
shit, I tell
pussy
you
before
what,
the police
you get
came.
saved,
He was out here saying thank you for breaking it up.
You get
Thank
saved
you.
right
The
now,
sister was
we
hitting
go.
with the bullhorn. He's like, thank you,
Come
Mike.
on. Get
Thank
on
you.
your knees and
Now
cry
when they
to
come
God.
here, he's a
You
tough
roll
guy.
up,
Put the
go right
AR-15
now.
up. Who the fuck abandons their gun?
You sinning.
Talk to
You
the toy
sinning
soldier
devil.
some more.
Sinning devil. Sinning devil.
He's a toy soldier.
No, we don't. We have nothing in common. I have nothing in common with the guy. You don't
I've
even
been
have
here
a
from the
job.
beginning. They won't
Where do you
bullshit.
work? Where do you work?
Huh?
Like Obama. You Obama?
Mike Kennedy. Mike Kennedy.
And that guy has got hundreds of millions of dollars, and he never kicked any down to you, did he?
That's right. Hey, that's right. Fuck Obama. Hey, fuck Obama.
Right here? Listen.
Fuck Obama.
He stole so much money, and he didn't even
He's
want to get
raping
back.
children as well. Fuck Obama and your
Hey,
Jesus.
hey, woman, I actually made a agreement with you on that one. I made a agreement.
Fuck Obama
Hey,
and your
yes,
Jesus.
That's great. We found some common ground.
Fuck your Obama and Jesus. That's well.
Tell them.
No, he's telling you.
This is a class war that we're under. We don't need to hate each other. We need to hate the people that are in support.
They're too old for that shit. They're too solidified in
They're
that shit.
so
He's too old to be. He's solidifying that shit. What he believes is what he believes. You can't change that shit.
What about
Racism and pedophilia.
You can't change that shit.
Pedophilia.
What about all the successful
She's a
black
gay
people in
people.
this world?
She's a gay
Successful.
people. Europeans oppress them as well.
You have the right to remain silent.
And you have a right to shut the fuck up.
You
You
get
have a right to
authority
shut the
by
fuck
the
up.
Most High.
You weren't talking that shit with the police before the police came. And I came one deep and told you I could bring more if I wanted to. You sound fucking. This motherfucker asked me, he told me, we don't need anyone else here. I said, I'll bring a few people here for this shit. And he said, we don't need anyone. So now he's talking his ass off now.
He's coming. Hey, don't worry about
Like you fucked our ancestors.
Hey,
You pedophile.
Jesus, the Son of God. That's who you need to concern yourself with today. That's why we're here. Nothing else.
Nah, you know what? In the end, you do stop talking to him. Because he ain't talking about shit.
That's why I wasn't even gonna come over here. I say what? He's coming that way. I see him making it over here.
Hey, but my goal was because he's talking about Jesus.
We must always remember that we are fighting for society in which the oppressed are in power with peace and equality. The forces of oppression coming from the White House, the City Hall, and Governor's House is no match for our numbers when we organize and fight for justice. Fight to demand that Black Lives Matter. Fight to end an imperialist system that murders Black lives here and Black and brown lives abroad. Everywhere we see, the oppressive established order of things is being set ablaze. And our job as freedom fighters is to continue to fan the flames by staying in the streets. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Thank you.
Let's give Adelana another round of applause. She did a great speech. Up next, I'm really excited to call up the next speaker that's with an organization that I'm actually a part of, the Milwaukee Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. She's one of the best organizers that I know, one of the most driven people I've ever met, and words honestly can't do enough. I'm going to call up Lauren Cross with the Milwaukee Alliance. Yeah!
You did not have to say that. Thank you everyone for being here. Are you excited to be here? Yeah? You ready to get justice for Alvin?
Yeah!
Ready to get justice for Jay? Ready to get justice for Antonio? I'll say justice for, and you say justice for the three. Justice for? V3. Justice for? V3. Justice for? V3. Justice for? V3. I think the city is ready for justice. I mean, we've been waiting. We're in Dontre Hamilton Park. How long has it been since Dontre's had justice? How long has it been since Tyrese has had justice? How long has it been since Jonathan Tubby has had justice? Isaiah Tucker. Too long. Joel Acevedo. The police have made an imbalance in the natural order of things. They keep taking. That's all that I'm seeing is they take. They don't give. They take. They've taken lives, lifetimes. Milwaukee continues to be the worst place for black people because of what's been taken. Our jobs, our family, our love for our community, our education, our good quality of living. And this is all the result of operating under a system that doesn't benefit us, that wasn't made for us, and that won't operate for us. But I think it's time that we ask for our fair share of what we need in our communities, what we demand for our communities, and what we need for justice. And that is why we are taking the issue of police crimes, racist and political repression to the national stage, right here at the DNC. To summate one of my favorite quotes from Gloria Richardson, if you can articulate the need, that's the thing. We, as black people, as oppressed people, as indigenous people, we can articulate the need for liberation. We can articulate the need for a dismantling of oppression. We're right here, and we're demanding that want, that need. Like, that's what we need, and that's what we're here for, and we won't leave until we get it. If we don't get it, 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 shut it down! If these elected officials care enough to run for issues that we supposedly care about, then they should also do their due diligence and provide real solutions to the problems that we face in our communities, in our city. Solutions like democratization of the police through a civilian police accountability council. What we need is community control of the police. That's what we need. We need CPAC, and if we don't get it, 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 if we were to have something like community control of the police in Milwaukee, we'd be able to restore this imbalance in the natural order. We'd be able to take control over what's ours. What's ours is what's in our community. What's ours is the people that belong in our community. What's ours is our lives.
ass. You a bitch. You don't care about the people. You're not for the people.
Y'all protect
Oh, I gotta fucking go.
After you tell it happens to you and your family, which I'm praying does not. Your people will not protect you. Once that badges off.
They look just like this when y'all do my brother Seville. They look just like this. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all enticing from. Y'all come here to make a problem, nigga.
They pushed me. He pulled up on me and pushed me. I fought. Well, we'll need you for when I reported. And Bob got that video.
Mad as a bitch to put one of the horses down. I'm trying to get mad as fuck.
They down here. Brandon, they down here without the mask on. All them right here.
Is he a bitch?
Hey, Mo.
I guess they heard somebody else saying, and then they repeated it. Of course, that doesn't represent us. They said, I'm not sure.
The guy with the AR-15. And I told him,
At that point, I was going to have to come me in the face and say that you
saw it happen.
because they were already kind of pushing them back.
They're not here to protect the people. They're here to protect themselves. They don't give a fuck about us. They don't give a fuck about us.
They're going to come out fresh. They're not going to come out.
That's an occupation. That's a job. You can take your uniform off. I can
As
take
you
my
can see,
skin off.
you know, this is the stuff that you
If y'all was on the side of the street, y'all wouldn't be out here lined up like this looking like dumbass.
to protesters to make us
Who are y'all protecting?
really not paying
Who
attention.
are y'all protecting?
To our people.
Who are you serving right now? What are you protecting? This building? We don't want that building. We want justice. We want justice. We don't give a fuck about y'all buildings and shit. Fuck y'all. Who are you protecting? Who are you protecting? Who? Turn around. Nobody. You hold the police line against what? Regular fucking citizens exercising their rights. Y'all hold up a fucking line for what? Hold up a line for what? Who are y'all protecting?
I'm glad they're gone. But this right here is
Somebody over here gonna go run them down? It's triggering us.
we need them to have a better
Y'all gonna go run them down?
plan
Y'all gonna be on them
de-escalate
like
the situation.
y'all did today? Tonight, they don't give a fuck. Yeah, fuck y'all.
Oh no, they ain't here to listen. They're not here to listen.
Fuck y'all.
They need to go.
They need to go because who are y'all protecting? Who are y'all protecting? Who are y'all serving right now besides yourselves? We paying y'all to stand here and protect yourselves? Fuck that. We're not paying y'all for that.
Sick of that.
Fuck
Why don't
y'all.
you have a mask on? How do you expect us to follow along if you don't even follow it? How does that work? Y'all are human beings. We are human beings. How does it work?
Blue lives don't matter. Blue lives is an occupation.
It makes no sense.
Blue lives is an occupation.
Let them leave, y'all. Let them leave. Let them leave.
You see anybody be no boxing, man? Roll the fuck out. Roll the fuck out. Hey, leave, y'all. Leave.
Get out of here. Put your mask on.
They leaving y'all.
turn that bitch right. Hey, let's go.
And do what we came to do. They're gone. Let's move it. That's what we came to do. Shut it down.
And John 3:16 was a verse that we make sure that they are memorized. For God loved the world and he gave the only begotten Son, for whosoever believe shall not perish but have everlasting life. People, take time with your children. Hug them, kiss them, brothers and sisters. Hug your brother, hug your sister, wives and husbands. It's important because tomorrow's not promised to us. We saw Joel February 19th. Sorry, April 19th. He never made it home. He was a good kid. God has broken my soul. He hasn't paid. I'm not going to fight the cops one-on-one. I'm going to fight against the cops in the name of Jesus. The truth. It's important, people, when we stand up for what's right and love, we will be more than conquerors through Jesus Christ that strengthens us. John Chisholm has to get out of office. As a matter of fact, I think we should demand that all his cases be reviewed. Robert Stelter, who is a deputy chief, who was put deputy chief just over a year ago, has to go because he's been covering up himself along with John Chisholm. It's sad that you have one of the detectives show up and tell me they never came to my house to let us know that my son was in the hospital. I found out myself, you know why? Because of the Spirit of God kept aching me and pushing me and saying, look, Joel. I called the hospital. That's how I found out that my son was in the hospital, not because of the DA or the MPD came to notify us. Still to today, they haven't. They have not been transparent with us. And all I'm saying is they have an investigator that told us that they were all going to pay, that they were all going to jail. And then April 20th, he tells me at 9:30 in the morning, these are good people. Well, you know what, Lamar, you and I saw that video came, right? Did they look like good people? Did they look like they were on drugs? They were on drugs. This is what they didn't want you all to know. This was a party at a cop. It was a cop party. It was alcohol and drugs. It was not a sleepover, as they say. This is their narrative. We stand for truth, and this is why I'm bringing it out to the public, so you all know what's going on, because they try to hide my son and take his case and brush it under the rug. Heck, they thought we didn't even speak English. That's how sad the system is. See, the system is, it's not that the system is broken, it's that the system is corrupt. And this is the reason why we need to come out and force like this, because this is what they want to do, is keep us segregated, separate from each other. No, it's time for our brothers and sisters to come together with all nationalities that come against this damn system that is corrupt and break it down. That's what it needs to go. I said several months ago, Milwaukee is going to be ground zero for God's glory to show the world that he still sits in his throne. Get ready, because you're going to have to suffer God's wrath, not mine.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Brown, and I'm actually with Justice Wisconsin, and I stand with the family of Joel Acevedo. I want to thank you guys for coming out. Again, we have to remember that Joel Acevedo was murdered way before George Floyd. He was held down 10 minutes plus, being choked out by Mattioli, which was an officer. He's still an officer. They're still paying him as we speak. There were two other individuals. Christopher Peters, who was currently a parole officer. No, that was Andrew Jackowski was a parole officer. And I don't know how many of you know that these lines run concurrently. I want you guys to give yourself a pat on the back, because right now is our time. It's time for us as the people to come together to stop the police brutality, to stop the mass incarceration, to stop the pain and the cries that we continue to have to cry. I don't know about you, but I have no more tears. But I do have fight. And one thing that we all know, that in the city of Milwaukee, across the world, our cries have not been heard. Our needs have not been met. So as I stand here and represent for Joel Acevedo, because he no longer have a voice, he can't speak for himself. So me and his family will forever speak for Joel. We will forever speak for the Jay Andersons. We'll forever speak for the Breonna Taylors. I am, you are, we are their voice. I don't know if y'all witnessed how the police brutally used horses to trample peaceful protesters when we had a European who was heavily armed in body armor to stop us for speaking our voice. No longer will you silence us. No longer will we be overlooked. Joel, life matters. I know that Floyd was the reason that we came out. I know the original reason why a lot of us is out here, because we seen the video of George Floyd and how massively when he cried out for his mother. But I'm telling you that we in Milwaukee have been crying out for a long time. But today is a new day. And I'm here to bring notice that Mattioli has yet to be locked up. They're giving him due process. We have two witnesses that they're claiming are witnesses but are party to a crime. While Mattioli choked Joel out over 10 minutes, one individual was on his feet and the other one was on the other feet. That's a party to a crime. You are a murderer as well. How is it that the police is quick to arrest you and I just from being here? But Joseph Missa, who had violently attacked peaceful protesters again because he's a cop, but they have arrested the individuals that fought back in self-defense. But none of these individuals that I'm speaking to you, Andrew Jackowski and Christopher Peters, there haven't even been a photo shown of them. The corruption runs deep, but I'm here to tell you that with you, us together, we're uprooting the city of Milwaukee. We will be the demise of the corruption. If you don't know, you know now. If you don't know, you know now. John Chisholm, since 2007, has never convicted an officer of any wrongdoing. Mayor Tom Barrett has never spoke out. We haven't had a common council member to come out and speak and be a part of the people, and they're supposed to be our voice. But today you learn what we've always known is they was never for us in the first place. So now it's our time. You need to speak. You need to speak. We need to speak, and we got to demand answers. Remember these names. Michael Mattioli, Andrew Jakowski, and Christopher Peters are all murderers. We demand the 911 call footage, and we demand the video from the police officers. And again, before I go, you guys, it's one thing that we're paying for body cams. We shouldn't have to sue you to see what we paid for. Our police department get 46% of the budget. We pay for those cameras. There's no damn way we should have to sue you to see the footage. So together we stand, divided we fall. Peace for Joel and everybody else. Together we're going to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you again to the Acevedo family for showing up. Very powerful speeches and really good reminders that we need to be out here fighting for these families constantly. We got to be fighting for our own liberation. We got to be fighting for other people's liberation. We got to be out here fighting every day. Up next, we have another family that's a part of the family of Jay Anderson. Here we have Linda and Jay Anderson. Jay Anderson's mother and father. So please give them a round of applause.
Like you said, we're part of the three, and you're going to hear a lot of things that the Cole family said, but we're going to keep saying it. Amen. My name is Linda Anderson, and this is my husband, Jay Anderson. We are Jay Anderson Jr. parents. My son was killed on June 23rd, 2016 by Joseph Mensah. The Wauwatosa officer that killed 3 people in 5 years shot 19 times in 3 killings. My son was shot 5 times in the head and 1 in the shoulder. Jay Jr. was the second young man Joseph Mensah killed, sleeping in a car at Madison Park, not bothering anyone. He just had too much to drink, celebrating his birthday. Jay Jr. pulled over to sleep it off. Joseph Mensah pulled in the park at 2:58 a.m. Jay Jr. was assassinated at 3:07 a.m. Joseph Mensah stated he was afraid for his life. He also stated that he couldn't get on his camera. From the video that I could stand to watch, my son was obeying everything that Joseph asked of him. The windows were let down, the keys was out of the ignition, the windows were down, his hands was in the air. Remember, my son was inebriated and was following all his commands. Jay Jr. kept falling over onto the steering wheel. No telling how long he had his hands in the air. The third time of losing his balance, he was assassinated by Joseph Mensah. Overkill. Making sure my son was dead, so he had no reason or no fight. The only reason we got a video is because when he called the station, the video from the car automatically went back 28 seconds. Never once did my son have his hands on a gun. Now that we have good lawyers, Kimberly Motley and Deja Benji, that has been taking the time to investigate the case, they can't do their jobs completely because the chief of Wauwatosa, Chief Weber, only gave us a bill for $5,400 and won't release the records. They are saying that it will at least take 4 months. In the meanwhile, the Fire and Police Commission gave my attorney 4 days to make a case for my son, which is due tomorrow. They are all working together to protect the Blue, even a killer on their payroll. What are they hiding or covering up? We are asking for Chief Weber to be fired and Joseph Mensa to be convicted. This is why we have people out here protesting every day, fighting for our rights. There's 3 families grieving for their son. Give us the decency to at least give us the records we are requesting. Stop trumping up the charges for these records. We are families that are struggling to raise money. Right. We don't have a GoFundMe page with close to $80,000 like Joseph Mensa. These donations to him are from people and police stations in the community. Yep. I miss my son so much. Okay, Queen. I miss his smile. I miss his sense of humor. He had a daughter. Do you think that he would risk everything to kill somebody and leave his daughter and family behind? Absolutely not. We need a change. Also, the people that are helping with donations and the activists and the people that are protesting every night, I just want to say thank you so much. We love you.
Yes, yes, thank you. Yes, yes. Yes, yes.
One more thing. Please, please get out and vote for Joe Biden. We need the Democrats to help fight these killer cops. All lives don't matter until
Black lives matter.
Thank you.
We love you, Mama. We love you. We love y'all. She said all lives don't matter until Black lives matter. Say all lives don't matter until Black lives matter.
Thank you to the Andersons for coming out and telling their story. And as I've said many times before, this is really not easy to do. It's really difficult, but these are freedom fighters we're talking about, and they're going to keep coming out here until we get justice. So we got to be out here to support them. Up next, looks like we're going to be calling a lot of people up, so I just don't want to say one name. But we're going to be calling up the family of Jonathan Tubby, and they've all come from the Oneida Nation. So please give them a huge round of applause.
Hello, my name is Sue Dockstader. I am the aunt of Jonathan Tubby and the older sister of his father, Dean Tubby Jr. I am here to tell Jonathan's story. Jonathan was 26 years old and was a member of the Oneida Nation in Oneida, Wisconsin. Jonathan was shot 5 times in the back on October 19, 2018, in the Sally Port of the Brown County Jail in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He was unarmed and handcuffed. Jonathan was stopped for a routine traffic stop in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Jonathan had a warrant for a non-violent crime and had no history of violent crimes. Jonathan was placed under arrest and transported to the Sally Port of the Brown County Jail by a trainee named Officer Colton Warnicki and his trainer, Officer Eric O'Brien. During transport, Jonathan was able to move his handcuffed hands from the back of his body to the front of his body under his shirt. This happened while the two officers were sitting in the front seat of the car. The squad camera filming that was meant to film the back seat was pointed up towards the ceiling. The arrival to the Sally Port occurred at approximately 8:34, at which time the trainee, Officer Colton, moved to the back door of the car to remove Jonathan. Officer O'Brien was at the back of the squad car putting his weapons in the trunk. Warnicki then placed his hand on Jonathan's knee to get him to come out of the vehicle, at which point Jonathan stated, "I'll do it." The trainee then noticed his hands were in the front of him and said he noticed a bulge. He closed the door and informed Officer O'Brien that there was something suspicious, and he noticed a bulge. Officer O'Brien flashed his flashlight while standing at the back of the trunk through the back window and said, "He has a gun." These words came from Officer Eric O'Brien and quickly spread through the Sally Port of the Brown County Jail. Our family has seen the footage of Jonathan sitting in the back of the squad. In the footage, we watched the part where O'Brien flashed his light in through the back window. We saw only Jonathan's back. He was leaning forward in the seat with his chest on his legs. This contradicts what O'Brien initially stated about Jonathan having a gun. The situation unfolded quickly as 12-plus officers came to the Sally Port. The Sally Port quickly filled with SWAT team members, canine officers and their dogs, Green Bay police officers, Brown County officers, and civilians that were riding along in squads. The statement that Jonathan had a gun by Officer Eric O'Brien escalated the situation and put the perception in all officers' minds that they had an armed and barricaded subject, now turning this into an emergent situation. At approximately 9:03, the Bearcat came in and plans of extracting Jonathan from the vehicle began. A less lethal plan of removing Jonathan from the vehicle was ignored because the ranking Brown County officer assumed jurisdiction of the Sally Port. His plan was to shoot out the back window and administer OC spray into the back of the car. The ranking officer had no further plan after this and dismissed the less lethal plan offered by two other officers. The video supplied to the family showed Jonathan moving around in the vehicle to see what was going on. At different times in this video, Jonathan was seen and heard sobbing. The officers are heard saying, "Jonathan, show us your hands." However, officers stated they could not hear him respond, nor did they see his hands. At one point, Jonathan wiped the windows off as requested because the windows of the vehicle were fogged over. Officers said that Jonathan was agitated while in the vehicle, but the video does not show that at all. The rear window was shot out and cleared, at which time Jonathan curled up in the fetal position and clearly stated, "What are you guys doing to me? I'm scared." You could hear them say, "Jonathan, show us your hands." And Jonathan replied, "Okay, I can't. I'm scared. Somebody help me." This was heard by an officer but was not acted upon. Immediately, the OC was administered, which hit Jonathan directly in the face. He quickly exited the vehicle through the back window. He immediately was shot with a beanbag round, which caused him to fall off the back of the car. He got up and ran, and another beanbag round was shot. Keep in mind, this all happened in a matter of seconds. As Jonathan ran, he ran into a transport vehicle, then turned, and at that point the canine had engaged with him. Officer O'Brien, who was outside the Sally Port door, came around the corner and shot 8 times. 5 of those bullets hit Jonathan. He stated he thought that Jonathan was shooting, but what he heard was the last beanbag shots. Officers stated that Jonathan was standing upright or leaning slightly forward when he was shot. However, all bullets entered through the back in a downward pattern. The bullet that entered the back of his head may have been the final shot. He was also shot to the back of the neck and 3 shots in the upper left of his back. Officer O'Brien was asked if Jonathan was standing upright or leaning forward. His response was that all he remembers was that Jonathan was levitating away from him. Officer O'Brien is a recreational gun owner and a firearms instructor, but he could not, he could not tell the difference between a beanbag gun and a standard gun. Officer O'Brien openly admitted that he did not receive an honorable discharge from the armed forces, and his discharge was for depression. He also openly admitted to not include one offense for disorderly conduct on his application to the Green Bay Police Department because there was not enough lines on the paper. Officer O'Brien is now referred to as Sergeant O'Brien. He was rewarded instead of being held accountable. Jonathan was pronounced dead at 9:11 p.m. As our family continues to spread Jonathan's story and seek justice, we live this night over and over again, just like many other families that have lost loved ones to this unnecessary violence and brutality. We have heard the conflicting statements by officers. We have seen the lack of policies and procedures, and we have heard the phrase police immunity that many of these officers hide behind. These officers state they are trained in de-escalation, trained in negotiation, and trained in officer override. None of this was followed in our story, as well as many of the stories where the lives of our loved ones are taken. It is much easier to say that a person is resisting, suicidal, or that the officer feared for their life and the safety of their fellow officers. It is much easier for them to say that Jonathan was suicidal and wanted to die at the hands of a police officer. Jonathan was not suicidal. Jonathan was unarmed. Jonathan was still handcuffed, and Jonathan was not violent. Instead, they escalated the situation by using deadly force, which in their minds makes their actions justified. It is all too often that our families hear district attorneys across the country say the actions of an officer were justified. It is all too often that officers are allowed to hide behind a badge that protects them from the injustices and the heinous acts on our loved ones. It is time for us to demand that officers are held accountable, not rewarded. It is time for accountability and time to eliminate police immunity, which allows officers to make their own rules. Police immunity should never give them the right to make up the story as it goes. This doesn't give them the right to take a life, and it certainly should not allow them to play God and determine whose life should be saved and who should not. Please continue to support and pray for all of our families that grieve because they have lost a young man, a woman, or a child by the hands of a police officer. Our family once again thanks everyone for their continued support and the spreading of Jonathan's story and carrying his name. Justice for Jonathan Tubby. As we watch these banners fall, through Facebook, we have attempted to reach out to some of our other Native families in Wisconsin. So my daughter Danielle has a statement from Jason Perot's family, and I'd like to introduce the mom, and cousin of Dexter Baxter to my left here. This is Dexter's mom, Paula Dockstader, and his cousin, Marissa Bladorn. At this time, they're not ready to talk, and we're going to respect that. But we are very thankful that they're standing here today with us. So I will let Danielle read the statement from Jason Perot's family.
So our family's not related to the Perot family at all, but we recently have been in contact with them, so they wanted to share their story. They couldn't be here today. So Jason Perot was 14 years old when he was shot and killed by Deputy Brock I'm going to butcher this, Mirjanovich of the Ashland County Sheriff's Department. Jason was Ojibwe. Jason was a kind-hearted, soft kid who couldn't or wouldn't harm a fly. The story they portrayed in the media about him is not true. They said the same thing they said about George Floyd, that he was high on fentanyl. But the truth is, he wouldn't have been able to walk, or he would have died from a fentanyl overdose with the amount of fentanyl that they said that he had in his body. There was no body cam or dash cam video proving he was even a threat. The call that eventually led to Jason's murder was for reports of gunshots on a road in Odana for a totally different person. We believe that this was a case of mistaken identity. There was no knife recovered, only a cell phone, proving that the deputy's story about Jason charging him with a cleaver was a lie. Jason was a kind child. The use of lethal force was not needed. The deputy was 6 feet 3 inches tall and was a full-grown adult. Jason was 5 feet tall, 3 inches, and just a boy. He should be here with us. He could have been, he should still be here with us. He could have been calmed down. He was a smart child who had great grades and was well respected by his teachers and his peers. The family of Jason Perot thinks it's time. Joe Biden, the Democrats, and the mayors and council people of cities and towns everywhere quit making excuses for the police officers that murder people. They need to be thrown in prison and held accountable for their crimes. We won't rest until all victims of killer cops have seen justice. So I just wanted to add a little bit to all of our statements, but clearly there's so much wrong with the system that it needs to be dismantled.
Yes.
The origin of the police is embedded with racism since police originated as slave catchers.
Yes.
Think about that. The police originated in a time where black folks were treated and seen as property, in which indigenous people and black people were dehumanized.
Yes.
They continue to dehumanize us. We need to demand more of our country. We need our police officers to have a minimum of a 4-year social work degree.
Yes.
We need to raise our standards and expectations. If you're going to put guns in the hands of these people, we need to expect more. My opinion on that is if they're willing to spend 4 years in school, the passion to help people is truly there.
Yes.
We need to do away with qualified immunity. This prevents us from getting the accountability that we are seeking. We really need to put pressure on our elected officials to reopen all the cases. All the families and their loved ones deserve that. Most importantly, we need to put pressure on our elected officials from the city, state, and all the way up to the president and hold them accountable. Put pressure on them that things need to change. Have those conversations and get rid of those who are ineffective. Vote them out. Watch to see what they are supporting and take them to task. Our current leadership is ineffective. We need to get these Democrats to do more to end police brutality. We need to get them to help dismantle this system. The system doesn't work. Redirect more funding to social programs to help invest in our people. So I just want to wrap up and thank the organizers for allowing us to be here today and to tell the stories of those who are Indigenous victims of police brutality. Our Indigenous communities get overlooked. Our voices are unheard. We are often invisible and continue to be oppressed. Having said that, I would like to invite everybody to Green Bay on October 13th for the Indigenous Peoples March. Please come and stand in solidarity with your Indigenous neighbors, your brothers and sisters. Please come and hear our injustices. There is an event page on Facebook, and you can get updates on the Justice for Jonathan Tubby Facebook page. Thank you. Sorry, October 12th.
Justice for Jonathan Tubby!
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 Thank you to the Tubby family and all of the other Indigenous families that have shown up to show their solidarity with the other families that have faced similar crimes against them. This is the only way that we're going to win with what we're seeing today. A lot of solidarity, a lot of shared struggle, and a lot of mutual benefit on the things that we're working on. When we all work together, we're going to get the goods. I'm now going to call up the family of Isaiah Tucker, specifically Cassandra Tucker. So everyone, please give a big round of applause for Cassandra Tucker.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Tucker, Isaiah Jamal Tucker's mom. He died July 31st, 2017, 5 days after his birthday. I woke up at 1:38 a.m. to his girlfriend screaming on my phone, "Miss Tucker, they're shooting Isaiah, and they're shooting at him, and he doesn't even have a weapon. He's in my car, Miss Tucker. Miss Tucker, I don't know. I think he's gonna die, Miss Tucker." And screaming to the officer, Artenberg, "He doesn't have a weapon. Why are you shooting at him?" So I get up, get in my car after I tell my son that's laying in the other room, "Come on, they're shooting at your brother. We gotta go. We gotta get up. We gotta go see what's going on." So we arrive at the crime scene, and they say he's not here. And all the officers are gone by the time we get there, and he's driven the car away from the house, and down the street he crashed the car. And he ran to a shed, and in the shed he hid. And it was officers that ran to the shed. Later I saw on the video cams that they ran to the shed, guns pointed, telling him to come out. The officer that shot him said, "Isaiah, if you don't get out the car, I'm going to shoot you." "I mean it, Isaiah, I'm going to shoot you." And he began to shoot at the car. But unbeknownst to him, Isaiah's 4-year-old son was on that side of the building, and he drove away from the house because he knew his son was laying in the bed sleeping. And when I got there, everything was gone, but yet and still, I went down to the hospital. I said, "Is Isaiah here?" They were like, "Who?" I said, "His girlfriend told me he had been shot, and he's here." And he wasn't there at that hospital, so I went over over to Mercy Medical. And I said, is my son here? They told me that he has been shot. Is he here? It took them 5.5 hours to come talk to me and tell me maybe it's your son. Maybe it's not your son. And then after the 6th hour, the officer that was, the commanding officer came out and said, yeah, it's your son. I was like, maybe it's not my son. Maybe it's not, because they weren't sure, and they know who Isaiah is because he was the star basketball player. He was the star track player when he was in high school. He did all these things in the newspaper in Oshkosh, and they were like, well, maybe it isn't. And then the officer said, yes, it's your son. I said, well, I have to see him because he just had tattoos, and I knew his tattoos. I went into the hospital room. They wouldn't let me get close to him after 6 hours. His chest was open, and I could still see it. I crumbled to the floor and couldn't breathe. Because that was my son laying there. That was my baby that I had, that I carried, that I nurtured, laying there. So the police department, they proceeded to tell me after I came to that this is what they were going to do. They kept his body for 2 weeks. And then they said, no, we got to keep it for a little bit more because it's a crime scene in and of itself. So they transported his body out of Oshkosh to Madison. I had to pay to get his body back to Oshkosh. I had to pay out of pocket for the funeral. And when they had the trial, the officer, they didn't even notify my family, even after we had been in negotiations with the police department of Oshkosh, talked to the chief, talked to everyone, and no one notified us at all that this trial was going on for Mr. Oxenberg. And then they told me someone represented my family, and nobody in my family knew. And they didn't even know who the representative was because she wasn't related to us. So after all of this, they tell me, Miss Tucker, we're going to give you this videotape of your son. This is what we're going to do for you. And they gave me his autopsy, and they gave me the video cam of his last breath, where he died in the ambulance and how they treated him before he died. They got him out the shed. They stripped him buck naked. They turned him over 5 to 10 times and said, we don't see no exit wound. We don't see no wound. My son said, am I going to die? I'm going to die. I watched that myself. I saw my son's last breath. I know that there has to be justice some way, somehow. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, yellow. It doesn't matter. These are our children, our brothers, our sisters, some mothers. We can't replace them. Everybody is needed. And our children may make mistakes, but they're still ours. And we love them. And it doesn't mean that they can't get better. It just means that we as a society have to push for greatness.
Yeah.
That's a lot to take in. So since the families have come out here and you know, done the labor of explaining their stories to us, you know, telling us the trauma that they've been through, you know, this trauma that's been shared for generations, specifically amongst black people in America, and also amongst indigenous and brown populations. So we need to take from their work, we needed to inform our work, and we need to get out in the streets and demand justice. So I know some of y'all are getting kind of antsy. I've had a lot of people walk up like, are we going to march? Are we going to march? I'm going to bring up one more speaker, and then we're going to get out on the streets. And I'm really honored to bring this person up here to speak. This person has been a longtime activist, a political prisoner, and is a co-founder of the National Alliance. And his name is Frank Chapman. So please, everyone, give a really, really, really big round of applause for Frank Chapman. Yes.
I'm very happy to be here, and more than that, honored. It's been very moving sitting out there listening to these families. I've been listening to these stories for over 50 years. That's about how long I've been in the movement. And the stories haven't changed that much. People being murdered by the cops, people being disrespected by the police, people being brutalized by the police, people complaining about the police being racist, people complaining about them being Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, it's been the same story, believe me, for 50 years. I'm only 77, so this shit has been going on way longer than that. This country was founded on genocide and slavery. Let's be clear. You can get awful damn confused if you don't know the kind of quagmire that you're in. And the quagmire that you're in is this. This is not a broken situation. The system ain't broke. The system was designed to do exactly what the hell it's doing. And that's why we need community control of the police. Community control of the police. That's why we need it. We need it because we're dealing with fascist cops who are going to kill us at random and at will. And the only way that can be stopped is that we stop it. That's why I say all power to the people. All power to the people. Because it's not till we get that power that we're going to stop it. And power is not going to be given to you. And you're not going to wake up one day out of a bad dream and find that you're empowered. You got to fight for it. See, the first thing you do right is when you start to fight. That's the first thing. And you got to keep your eye on the prize. We are fighting for something. We're fighting for freedom, justice, and equality. And we're never going to get to that if we don't get rid of these racist, fascist cops who are killing us like it's a hunting season going on or something. It's got to be stopped. The Democratic Party is not going to stop it. The Republican Party is not going to stop it. You got to stop it. We got to stop it. All power to the people. Kamala Harris said something the other day. I agreed with her as far as it went. She said, we're in a pandemic. You know, over 170,000 people have died already. A large number of them being black and brown people. So they're trying to find a vaccine for the virus. And she said there is no vaccine for racism. That's right. Mm-hmm. But racism is not exactly a virus. Racism has been going on a long time. Since 1619 at least, probably longer than that, when they brought the first slaves here. So there is a vaccine for racism. And that's the power of the people. That's the power of the people. Because the power of the people is greater and more significant and more earth-shaking and more changing than the people in power. Yeah. That's right. So that's what we got to be about. That's what we got to be about. Yeah, vote against Trump. Fuck Trump. Down with Trump, you know. I ain't got no problem with that. But I don't push politicians, and I don't think we should. Let's push the issue. And what is the issue here? How many people in front of the Democratic Party convention have been victimized by police? Huh? What family? We've heard all these families speak out here today. Have any of these families been invited to the convention floor?
No.
Have any of these families been invited to get on the platform and speak?
No.
Didn't Joe Biden say he didn't want to defund?
Yes, he did.
But he praised John Lewis, didn't he? They all did. All them hypocrites did. Praised John Lewis. Well, John Lewis went and stood on the Black Lives Matter written on the streets of Chicago before he died to say to his fellow congressmen, to the people and to the world that he stood with Black Lives Matter. So what the hell is wrong with Joe Biden? You need to get on the right side of the barricades. Well, at least acknowledge, at least acknowledge, because I know you ain't gonna get on our side of the barricade, but at least acknowledge. You know, we're not damn fools. Yeah, we're gonna do what we gotta do to defeat Trump. Because he's a fascist pig. But we ain't going down no blind alley with no politician talking about elect me and I'll set you free. We ain't doing that one either. We got to put some demands on these people. And we demand that they support our call for community control of the police. All power to the people. All power to the people. All power to the people.
Let's give another round of applause for Frank Chapman. He came up here from Chicago. He's been fighting the fight forever. Now he's been fighting for CPAC. We are honored to have him here. CPAC is Civilian Police Accountability Council, and it's where we the people are going to have the power to be able to take on fire and basically control the budget of the police. No mayoral appointment, no bullshit like that. We the people get to decide who represent us. And the Alliance has been fighting for this all over the nation. In Dallas, in Chicago, in LA, in Jacksonville, in Tampa, and we're gonna get it here in Milwaukee. So, whose streets are these? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! All right, y'all, so we're going to ask the families to get behind the banner that we have out here, the We Can't Breathe banner that the coalition made. So any of the families that want to partake in the march, it'd be great if you could stand behind this banner. And then once we get everyone out onto the behind the banner, out to the street that way, everyone get behind the banner so that we're able to see the families up front and let them inform our work. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city.
people got the power.
voice.
Whose streets are these looking like?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
All right, y'all, we're only going to have 2 speakers out here in front of the PD. And we're going to call up Talavia Cole and Lauren Cross of Milwaukee Alliance. So give them a hand.
Whose streets? Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose city?
Our city!
Whose city?
Our city!
Whose city?
Our city!
Whose city?
Our city!
Whose home?
Our home!
Whose home?
Our home!
Whose home?
Our home!
Whose home?
Our home!
All right, make some noise.
All right, y'all, we have a special guest, another person coming up here from Chicago. He's been putting in the work with many others to get CPAC over there in Chicago, so let's give a warm welcome to Kobe.
Hello. Now listen, there was some motherfuckers over there who were yelling some racist shit, some homophobic shit, some misogynistic shit at us, okay? And they had a lot of shit to say about the south side of Chicago. I live on the south side of Chicago. Okay, so let me tell you about it. Let me tell you, every single fucking morning I wake up to police sirens. Every single night I can't sleep because there's police harassing people outside. Okay, they've shut down dozens of schools, hundreds of schools in the past 20 years. They shut down hospitals. At the beginning of the COVID-19 crisis, they shut down a hospital on the south side of Chicago. Now that racist motherfucker wants to tell us about the south side of Chicago. Okay? The crime, the violence that comes on the south side is the direct result of the status quo that the police are working to uphold. Okay? And it's the same shit here. Now listen, this uprising started a few months ago, at the end of May, okay, because of people were outraged by the murder of George Floyd, the murder of Breonna Taylor, the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Now, no matter which city you go to, they have a list of names, a long list of names of people from that city that have been murdered. I saw it here on that banner that y'all dropped over here. We have that in Chicago too. We have Laquan McDonald, Pierre Laurie. We have Betty Jones. We have Ronnie Man Johnson. Okay, we have dozens, hundreds of people whose names will never be a hashtag. We have hundreds of people who have been killed by the police, who have been kidnapped, brutalized, tortured by the police into confessing to some shit that they didn't do. Now, when we get together and we make history, because what we are seeing right now, this crowd right here, we are making history. Okay? And the people, the ones that are trying to stop us from making history are the police. Over the past 2 months in Chicago, I've been beaten by the police, I've been tear gassed by the police, but I'm still out here in these streets demanding, I'm not asking, I'm demanding community control of the police. Okay, because the one thing they can never do, although they can torture us, they can beat us, they can arrest us, they can harass us, the one thing they can never do is outnumber us. Okay, we are in here in solidarity, we are in here in our numbers, and we are saying that this shit has to change, and that we are going to change it. Okay, because all these cities that we're looking at, all these cities that the public eye is on, they have Democratic mayors. Okay, Lori Lightfoot is a Democratic mayor. And we've had to struggle with Lori Lightfoot. We've had to fight with Lori Lightfoot every step of the way. She's been sending cops to come and brutalize young people. Young, unarmed black people being brutalized in the middle of the street. Say that ain't right. That ain't right. Now listen, y'all. The only people that we can expect change from is ourselves. Okay? These politicians do not move unless we make them move. Okay, so the next protest, I want y'all to bring your friends. I want y'all to tell your friends and your family, your neighbors, your co-workers, people walking by on the street, tell them we need to defund the police. Okay, because all that time, I've had to listen to Chicago, I've had to listen to Lori Lightfoot say that there's no money for COVID-19 preparation. There's no money for housing in the worst economic crisis we've had since the Great Depression. There's no money for any of that, okay? But they have money somehow to pay the police overtime so they can beat people's asses in the street. So we gotta defund the police, and we have to pass a civilian police accountability council so we can hold those pigs accountable for what they've done to us. Okay, so I'm gonna say CPAC, and I want y'all to say fight back. CPAC! Fight back! CPAC! Fight back! CPAC! Fight back! When I say fight back, y'all say CPAC! Fight back! CPAC! Fight back! CPAC! Fight back! CPAC! Thank you, I love you so much. Thank you! Power to the people!
Alright, y'all, we're gonna continue to take these streets, and we're gonna keep going up that way. So, like we did last time, we're just gonna follow the people with the banner. They're going to start moving right now, and then we're going to follow them. All right? Let's march. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. You got to take it to the streets, defund the police. No justice. No peace.
stupid shit.
They're not here to protect us. They're here to protect the DNC.
Man, she in the right mind. It's no need to.
Let's go! Hey, let's go! This is why ain't nobody leaves. Let's go! Keep walking up on these people. Let's go! Let's go!
Why the fuck do you keep riding through here?